So, hello everyone. Today we are going to have an enormously interesting interview with the ESL teacher, artist, designer, cyclist, problem solver, idea guy, and just a human, Brian. He
Hey,
is a founder and owner of Mukimu Online, a company that designs ESL teaching materials for English teachers, correct? And
yeah,
make digital projects. Brian is from Beekman, the United States of America, the state of New York, and
Beekman, New York. Yeah,
yeah, and currently he's living in Kagoshima, Japan.
yes,
And today we'll talk about living in Japan, teaching English to ESL students, designing ESL teaching materials, also cycling and working out, as these are Brian's hobbies.
yes.
Yeah.
Thanks,
And
Mark.
before that, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and write a few words what you know about Japan. So, hi Brian, how is life in Japan?
Hi, it's good. Pretty happy, actually.
Mhm.
Yeah. Thanks for. I was happy when you reached out to me. You know, when I first saw your angry English teacher videos, I thought like this. This is somebody who loves their job, and it's the kind of person I like. So
Yeah, you are not one of the majority who like me.
well,
Like,
that's
uh,
okay.
you are not so. There were not so many people who liked my character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's one way to measure success is by how many people are mad at you, how many haters you have. So,
Maybe. So the first question to you: how long have you been living in Japan, and
uh,
why did you decide to move to Japan?
yeah, I've been here 16 years, and as
16 years.
16 years, yeah.
Wow.
I lived in Tokyo
So
for 8 years, and now I live in Kagoshima.
unbelievable. It's unbelievable. 16 years. And
Yeah.
what attracted? Why did you decide to move to Japan?
Well, okay, I was a designer in America. I designed mostly toys, kids' toys, and as an outsider, as a tourist, I loved everything about Japan. It just so happened my wife is Japanese, whom I met in America. Yeah, and it was just like it was a dream of mine to, you know, live in Japan at least for some point of time, some amount of time, and then I just one thing led to another. I stayed here.
Was it just living your comfort zone? Did you live
Well,
in comfort zone? Yeah.
well, now I'm in my comfort zone because
Uh-huh.
my quality of life is much better than it was. So
Wow. Mhm.
yes, in short answer is yes.
So, what attracted you the most in Japan, and what was the biggest challenge for you for the beginning?
Okay, well, like I said, most of the things that brought me here were kind of things like design, visual things that an outsider would see of Japan. Like I collected old Japanese robot toys and this kind of like memorabilia, pop culture from Japan. So that was the big, um, the beginning of it. And then, like I said, my wife is Japanese, and
Mhm.
I took some Japanese language classes in college. I thought it would be like a pretty big challenge, which it still is. And then,
So, are you fluent in Japanese now? Yeah.
excuse me.
Are you fluent in Japanese?
I wouldn't say fluent. I mean, they use a lot of kanji, which are Chinese characters. And like I said, I took a couple of semesters in America, and then after that, I just hit the ground running. I learned through life experience. I worked at the fish market. After I worked at a toy company, that was my first job.
Mhm.
Then I did that for about a year, and then anything else is English teaching. And at first, I didn't want to teach English. I didn't know anything about it, and
Mhm.
basically every foreigner that I had met in Japan was an English teacher. So it was like kind of like low on my list at that point. But so I worked at the fish market, cutting fish, and I did a variety of, horrible jobs, part-time jobs. I made bento, like, worked in a kitchen and making school lunches,
Really?
kind of thing. And then eventually I started realizing that teaching English actually paid pretty good. It paid all right. It wasn't like, yeah, it paid good. It paid decent. As good as designing toys paid, if not a little better.
Were there just like English schools or just
Yeah.
secondary schools?
Yeah, well, I worked at a chain, what I call a chain eikaiwa, which is a English conversation school, which has, branches. And chain is actually a really good word because a lot of these kind of language schools are a lot like fast food restaurants. There's like a very, very specific format. It's very, it's very like, cookie cutter, as I would say. It's and then they have locations every different places, and basically you have the same experience everywhere. If you go to a different location, you'll have the same experience working there or as a student. And it wasn't great in my opinion. It wasn't a lot of fun. It was very strict. It was very like, follow the textbook, don't do this, don't do that. And of course, I did everything they said not to do, and so I had a lot of fun, but I didn't do it for very long because it wasn't my thing.
All right.
But
And
eventually, yeah, sorry.
Yes. Go ahead.
Eventually, I struggled to find a good fit for a job for a long time, for years, for like a few years. I still did some freelance toy design, but then I got the job that I really wanted, which was this incredible kindergarten. It was a big kindergarten. It was like, it was really, really nice place, and it was a lot of kids. It was like 600 kids, and they used it as a location for some kids' TV shows, and I was still a designer, but I wanted to, designing toys wasn't really happening anymore. So, this place kind of like, it kind of got me interested in different things. It was an eye opener, and it gave me some good training. And it was really intense. It was difficult, and it was just what I wanted at the time.
Was it like a kindergarten based on the Montessori approach? Or just
No, not exactly. Not exactly. The kind of like state funded preschools and nursery schools are more like that, actually. Like they're more about like life training and daily life, and the kindergartens are more like the kid gets a bus ride, he gets a cool uniform, and he gets to say he went here. And it's like, it's a lot about like, I want to get into a good college, so I want to first get into a good kindergarten, and then get into a good elementary school. And it's a lot about that. It's a lot about like, getting into the right school from right out of the gate. And
so basically, as far as I understood, you teach kids. Yes,
yeah.
In most cases, you don't prepare for the IELTS or TOEFL. You just prepare general English.
My wife does that stuff, but I don't really get into that. I was never a good student myself, and like I understand grammar kind of like subconsciously, like the same way I understand like weightlifting and cycling, but I just like, just because it was, it was drilled in.
English in a natural way, yes?
Yeah, yes.
So what are your methods of teaching English? How does your English class look like?
Well, I have some what I call dispatch classes. I go to like a couple of big kindergartens, like 20 to 50 kids, and that's like mostly a big song and dance thing, like interactive thing. I teach the song, and the gestures, and I explain it. I try to get kids to remember, like, hey, what does this mean? You know, remember this thing, and I try to make it so it's not just jumping around, because clients don't like just like go crazy, music's on. So it's very clear what we're learning, and I try to get results. I try to get kids. The good thing about singing songs and dancing is like they go home singing songs in English, and their parents love it. You know, they're like, "Oh, my kid sings this English song," and we're so happy. You know, and because most kids, especially the older they get, they're shy. They become more shy. They don't want to make mistakes, and that's also cultural. So, and we do a little, like coloring, a little interview, like 4-year-old kids line up. What's your name? Boom, my name is, my name is, my name is, boom, 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 boom. How old are you? Everybody, I'm 4, so that's that. And then at my school, we have like, 10 kids in a class usually. And same thing, start out with like a song and a dance, and, get the energy up, get everybody gassed up, and then
it's rather exhausting. How do you manage this? It's like
I have a lot of energy. I drink a lot of coffee.
All right. And what's the level of their English? Are they good at English?
They're all right. I mean, they like most. Yeah, I would say like among. I try to get results. You know what I mean? I'm a results oriented guy. Like, this is what I wear to work. I don't care. I mean, my attitude is like, hey, this is it. If you don't like it, there's the door. But I get results. So I get kids talking in English, basic stuff, like everyday stuff. What time is it? What's for dinner? What did you eat for lunch? This kind of stuff. I don't get into like, we read some books and stuff, like simple books, but there is like a certain like a lot of things I need to explain in Japanese. So I like to limit that. So what I really do is I give kids a really good solid foundation. I try to get their pronunciation really good, and I try to break them of any stupid mistakes that they might be taught by teachers.
Correct mistakes, by the way.
Well, like things like this, like one thing that I hear a lot is like, "Hi, hey, how are you?" And the kids will say, "I'm fine, thank you." And I'm like, I never say that. I never say I'm fine, thank you. I just say good. I'm good. And that's it. It's like,
so to be more friendly, right?
Yeah, I try to keep it simple. Like I'm fine, thank you. It's a lot. It's a mouthful. It's unnatural, and
there's it's always like that. I'm fine, thank you. They ask, it's all over the world. I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah,
leave me alone. It's like, leave me alone. Thank you. What do you want? Yes, like the
yeah. And yes, and I just say good. It's easy. Good is easy, and
pretty good. My favorite one.
Pretty good. Fine. Yeah, I'm super. I'm great. But I have like a list. I have like some drills and some worksheets. I'm hungry. I'm tired. I'm hot. My feet are cold. This kind of thing. But usually in a social situation, like if you're at work, you're like, hey, Mark, how are you? My feet are cold. Nobody really wants to hear it anyway. So,
So do you use your own images, or you just download them from the internet? How does it?
I draw everything that I use. I draw it, or I take a picture of it. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Well, that's my motivation to like. That was part of my concept of the school. Is like, it kind of like forces me to do quality, because that's what it's one of the things that I'm really good at. It's one of the things that I'm like blessed with, that talent to draw. And I designed toys for 10 years, so I can draw stuff that's like kind of cute and kind of funny and kind of stupid. And I like to make a lot of jokes, like bad jokes, and that's really the big hook. Is like I want people to have fun, and like I want to have fun. And if you're having fun, you're gonna have like a good experience, and you're gonna remember stuff. If you're sitting there like hammering your head against the table, you're like white knuckling it, like learning it that way. It's so much harder. You know,
Wow, unbelievable! And you are always ready for the English class and with your own English materials.
usually, yeah, I'm always ready.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, uh, yeah, I usually do like what I usually do in a class with elementary school kids is like I'll do something like tracing guides. So there's an illustration and like for example Apple and it's like APPLE and I make them say it. Let's go guys. Point to the letters. Come on, let's go, let's go. Put your finger out and point. Like I make them do it and touch each letter APPLE and it builds vocabulary. It builds confidence. It engages reading, listening, speaking, writing, and then usually, you know, maybe we'll do like a multiple choice worksheet, you know, something like that, or some kind of like maybe another worksheet, some kind of activity, maybe write a word in. You know, today we did like we're doing food, so it's like bump, 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 and bump, bump, bump our vegetables. Like, what do you like? I like broccoli. Okay, broccoli. Put it on the whiteboard. BRO. Blah 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 blah. And then, you know, what about you? What do you like? You know, what's your favorite? And then, you know, come on, wake up. What's your favorite vegetable? And you know, try to keep them engaged. Keep it moving. Like there's no dead space. That's death. You know, because they start writing on their notebook or they start talking to each other. So you got to keep them into it, and then usually a puzzle, and then a game. There's always a game. That's the hook. That's what keeps kids coming back. Is like they have this memory. Even if they start getting bored after like 3 or 4 years of my class, they always know they're gonna have a game, and the game is gonna be crazy because everybody has a hard schedule. Everybody's stressed, including me. But the game is like, let's go crazy, you know. And we have fun. I have fun, and I'm 47 years old, and I'll be honest, I pretty much lived in a party for like 35 of those years. So I want to have fun. So if they have fun, I have fun. They look happy. The parents pick them up. They're like jumping up and down, and you know they like English. So that's really having fun is really the hook for me.
So you design ESL materials for teachers and digital products. And
Yes.
your company is called Mukimu Online.
That's
so
right.
What can we order in your company? What digital products do you sell?
Okay, so for early kids, young kids, coloring books, like different themes, subjects, whatever, coloring, and tracing guides, and puzzles, like different types of worksheets for English. Simply worksheets, and flashcards. So flashcards are PDF formats. You can put them on your iPad, or you could print them and laminate them. And we have a couple of posters also.
So each poster has its own price, correct?
Yeah, most items are. I have some free items that you can just download, and then most stuff is between $3 and $9. So that would be like in U.S. currency, and yeah. So mostly I have worksheets and flashcards for elementary school aged kids and kindergarten aged kids.
So we can order it directly from your site, or where can we find this?
Well, it's all digital downloads. So you just download it. My website is mukimuonline.com, and the sales are done through a third party, which is called teacherspayteachers.com, which is full of stuff made by teachers. So I'm not gonna like try to hide that fact because there's a lot of good stuff on there too. But my stuff, but I'll be honest, a lot of it is like clip art, and a lot of it all looks the same. So my stuff is kind of unique, and you know, it's got its own kind of original flavor, what I would say.
I see. Yeah. And also I watched your educational funny videos about a guy who tried to order a pizza.
Yeah.
And this video was really hilarious and addictive. Yes, I saw them a couple of times in a row. I asked my friends to watch it, and they really enjoyed it. And how long does it take you to make up such a video? And do you make videos like that?
Well, that video, that one's called "How to Order Pizza" in English. That one took a little bit of, that was a little bit of an undertaking, probably a couple days, because it's animation. I don't really have any training in animation, so probably like, you know, a minute probably takes like somewhere around like 12 hours or more, maybe a week, you know, to make a 2-minute video like that. But you know, I have some simpler videos. I use After Effects, which is a simple motion graphics and motion graphics software. And you know, I make like what I call flashcard videos, like something like the word spells out and it's got a picture and pops up with some sound. And you know, those take like, I could do those in like a half a day after all the artwork is done, of course.
If you go on YouTube with such videos, I guess they will be really popular.
Yeah, I do all right. There's a lot of good stuff on YouTube, but like I said, I do it my way. So some people like it, you know. It's I have high standards for myself, and I don't know if it necessarily translates to like makes it like better quality. I call it edutainment, you know, entertainment, education.
Yes.
You know, so I don't know if like some people's stuff is like wow, cool, and like kids will sit there and watch it, but I don't know if it's really good or not, you know. It's kind of like, you know, does people have choices, you know. It's a good thing. And so, you know, if you like my stuff, I'm really happy, but if not, you know, that's cool too. I mean, I mostly make it for myself and my classes, so I'm glad to share it with everybody else, though.
It's just like a food for thought for you, just to make it like online on YouTube, because I feel that it's gonna work on YouTube as well, and it can become really popular.
Thank you, Mark.
Yes, it's just like I'm fair, I'm honest with you. Yeah.
Cool.
So, what highlights and places of interest would you recommend visiting for tourists in Japan?
In Japan, okay. So, I mean, it depends what you're into. I mean, Tokyo. Most people go to Tokyo and Kyoto because Tokyo is like really exciting. You can see all the kind of typical stuff you would imagine of Japan. Kyoto's got the kind of like it's like very touristy, but you can see all the kind of traditional things people kind of expect to see. Other than that, it really does take time to just go places and really like absorb it. That's kind of one reason I've been here so long, is because it really just takes so long to kind of absorb like the little things, like understand what's going on around you. Because but you know, the countryside's nice. It depends what you're into. Like I got into cycling here because it just helped me like kind of get out there and like quiet down my mind and like really absorb the surroundings. And that's
you're not just doing cycling, you're also doing some working out.
Weightlifting, yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. So why is it your passion?
Well, the funny thing is, I do cycling. So I got into cycling. I got pretty serious with it. And then there's what's called the rainy season, the tsuyu, which is it rains for about 2 months. And you know, it's kind of like, it's not that much fun going out in the rain all the time. So I started going to lift weights, and I actually found that I was had a lot more natural ability at that, and I just kept going with it. You know, I have a lot of fun lifting weights. It sounds crazy, but it's healthy. You know,
it's like you're like Arnold Schwarzenegger. He also said he had some fun by weightlifting, but how is it possible? Everybody just was surprised, like in the gym when they looked at him, like how is it possible? Like that everybody was so tiresome, and he just had a smile on his face.
Yeah, well, there's some pretty big guys there. You know, the funny thing is, most of the people in the gym are old people. They're like, you know, 70 years old. And
really,
Yeah, it's like the gym in Japan is like Facebook for old people.
It's
It's
like
crazy.
golf for us, yes.
Yeah, something like that. Like they,
Uh,
they just go there and they're like on these machines and
really? How can you explain this phenomenon? Or like young people don't want to work out
yeah, they're
anymore?
too busy. Mostly too busy. I mean, people have a hard schedule, and then there's like a lot of old people,
Oh,
and they retire people pretty young here, so they have free time, and they're very energetic. Like I think the culture here forces people to kind of like be like upbeat, like kind of like jump out of bed in the morning and like go do something. Like people are out like sweeping and cleaning and walking around the neighborhood early. So I think it's just like built in. I think it's just people are hardwired to like do stuff and
they
be
rush
busy.
all the time, yes? They all the time rush. They rush. They want to do to catch
Well,
something or what.
kind of like Tokyo kind of is like that. Tokyo, everybody's like,
Mhm.
like in a panic. But it's also very crowded. Like it's actually quite the opposite. Like here, I mean, people are very slow paced and very like what Westerners would call Zen.
Mhm.
So it's like it's just that frame of mind of like I'm doing like one thing right now, and I'm just doing that. Like I'm crossing the street, and like don't really like think about something else. It's it's just I'm crossing the street. I'm not eating ice cream and drinking coffee and talking on my phone. I mean, I'm crossing the street
Mhm.
carefully. You know?
I see. And how does a typical Japanese cuisine look like?
Japanese what?
Cuisine, like food.
Indian food? Okay, yeah, it's like well, Japanese food is very visual. So of course, most people have seen sushi, so that's of course very visual. Um, so traditional Japanese food is consists of rice, of course, uh, fish, and vegetables. Like this thing called nabe in the winter. It's winter time now, so nabe is kind of like clear soup with vegetables, fish, or something like that. Uh, Daikon is like a big radish, so it's a lot of vegetables. Japan is a very agricultural country, and of course, modern Japanese food is a lot of fried food, which some people are surprised at.
Mhm. Do you personally stick with Japanese food or American food more?
It's a mix. It's like I try not to go out of my way for specialty food, but I do have a pretty specific diet. I eat brown rice, chicken, and cabbage like 3 or 4 times a day, and I eat
Mhm.
oatmeal. So I mean, yeah, like I probably half of the stuff I eat, I'm a little bit specific about like oatmeal. Oatmeal isn't really standard Japanese food, so I usually order big boxes online. But other than that, brown rice, cabbage, it's very like easily accessible, and a lot of like little things I eat are Japanese, um, especially like for training. Little things like certain candy that I eat that's like it's like pure glucose. So it's good for while you're exercising because it's very similar to what your blood sugar already is. And it's just little things like that are very but I have to find them. I have to seek them out, and it takes years to discover certain simple things that I could have just found in my own, in my own culture. I would have just found them right away. I wouldn't have had to look at all. Mm.
Yeah. Hmm.
But there's energy drinks that are things like that. Stuff like the convenience stores in Japan are incredible. So you can get some like really healthy food, and you can get some like really interesting stuff just at a convenience store.
So it
I mean,
must be expensive there, yes, to
well,
or
it,
like in the suburbs, no.
so well, just daily living in Japan isn't very expensive. I mean, you could buy rice, you could buy stuff like chicken and vegetables. It's affordable. You can, if you live in the countryside, you can get rent for pretty cheap, but it's very easy to burn through your money here also, because there's a lot of like great products and great food and great everything. So it's very easy to spend money in Japan. It can get expensive quick, but if you really buckle down, live kind of a stoic lifestyle. I mean, I did a 100-kilometer bike ride today, and I spent like $5, 500 yen. So, I mean, almost nothing. I mean, I bought a couple of snacks out of convenience store. A couple, I got clean, drinkable water. So, that's a good thing.
So let's talk about the weather. So what are the weather and the climate like in Japan?
Sure. Okay.
In winter.
Okay, so it gets pretty cold up north. Like Tokyo, it's pretty close to New York. It gets hot in the summer and pretty cold in the winter. And if you go north, it just gets colder. If you go south, it's pretty comfortable. I'm about as far south as you can get, and it gets down to 0 and below 0. We had a little bit of snow this week, but it always warms up between 10 and 2 peak sunlight hours. It always gets pretty warm. You could be outside in like a t-shirt or a sweatshirt, but it'll cool back down. And the summer gets hot. It gets very humid, and like I said, there's a rainy season. So what happens is, in about end of May, June, it just starts pouring rain, torrential rain. I guess what would be called a monsoon, and that lasts until mid-July, August. And that's that takes a little bit of getting used to, I'll be honest. Just yeah.
And could you tell me, please, about the Japanese mentality? I'm interested to know about their characteristics. They are closed people. Yeah, they don't want anybody. Like, they would not make friends with you.
Well, it's a closed society. Yeah, that's true. It takes a little bit of it's a little bit hard. It's a unique culture, and it wasn't very easy for me to adapt, honestly, right away. And yeah, it's a lot of like, it's a kind of a it's part of Asia, so there is a kind of groupthink mentality in general. It's not very like individualistic, as far as like people are very reluctant to speak out when they're in a group. So a lot of like people will have two personalities. Their kind of personal life personality with their friends, and their public personality, like outside of their house, in their neighborhood, or at work, or at school, and stuff like that.
Strict division, yes.
Yeah. It's very it's like very pronounced. So and there's an age hierarchy in most groups, at work, at school, whatever. Yeah, so those are like the big things, I would say, like age hierarchy. People respect people older than them, and the group think. I call it group think because it's like people don't want to make mistakes. People don't want to like speak out, and people don't want to be put outside of the group. They don't want to be like cast out from the group. They don't want to be, they don't want to be like bullied or laughed at. I mean, because that's how it would feel with such a group mentality. So that's a big thing. That's a big thing, and that's a challenge for teaching English, because especially older kids, getting them to speak. They don't want to make mistakes.
So they have some constraints, right?
Yeah, I mean, Japan is very strict. I mean, in general, there's a lot of rules and unspoken rules. Just it takes a little getting used to. I mean, it's kind of like I would say, like, it's kind of like there's a handbook of like how to behave. There's like certain things you just don't do. Like like if you're a smoker, you don't walk around smoking. It's considered like really disrespectful, really bad manners. Like there's designated smoking areas. People don't walk around eating. It just looks like the idea is that if you don't have time to stop and eat, you must be like a thief or something. You know, it's like a lot of it's very old. You know, like 200-300 years old at least. Um, People won't carry things like from the grocery store in their hands. Like it must be like in some kind of a bag, you know, or same thing. You're like, why is this guy running out of the grocery store with a, you know, with a fish or whatever? Did he steal it? You know, it's kind of like the idea. What's wrong with you? You don't know any better, and certain like you know body language, you know, like unacceptable.
Body language unacceptable, you mean?
Excuse me?
You mean that body language, there is a kind of body language that is unacceptable, then, for example?
Yeah. Well, like okay, let me see. Like the people don't really make eye contact in general. People don't really, especially with people older than them. People don't really like show their teeth. Like a lot of people don't show their teeth. It's I don't know why, but I've noticed that in this country, especially women. Women will, you know, do this and
It's a kind of shy, yeah?
yeah. I mean, it's like maybe they're just trying to be cute. I don't know, but
And they
this,
don't talk. They don't talk in the subway, correct?
yeah, oh, yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. Talking on the subway. It's you know, people don't eat on the subway. People don't talk on the subway. People don't talk on their phones on public transportation. That's you know, that's
Or how can you? Is it just disrespectful to?
yeah. It's like it's like yeah, it's like considered like this is a like a public space. Should be considerate of other people. It's considered rude, you know, loud talking on the train or talking on your phone. You know, you want to read books. I mean, I see people reading like, you know, comic books, like questionable content, but you know, they're quiet and they're to themselves, so nobody bothers them.
Mhm.
So,
are there any crimes in Japan? Because I haven't heard.
of course, there's crime, but it's different type of crime than you would see like in America, for example. There's no guns here. Police have guns, but they don't really use them. Occasionally, there's been like incidents of like knifing incidents, but they're very like similar to the like school shootings in America, like knife attacks on the street. But they're not they're not quite as common. You know, there's like kidnapping. There's you know there's like bad stuff happens in every society, but you know there's people get very isolated, so I think there's like a certain amount of violent crime that comes out of that. Like people get very isolated and they just lose it, you know, they lash out or whatever. So, you know, you hear about incidents and there's petty crime, you know, people stealing stuff, whatever, but it's strict, you know. There's no like one thing about Japan is everything is syntax. There's no negotiating the rules. That was a culture shock for me. It was like, well, I forgot my thing. How about I just bring it tomorrow? And it was like, nope. You got to bring, you know, sorry. And then that's it. Like, so that's the thing is like, if you get caught, if you get in trouble, if you break the law, you're going away and you're not coming back. And it's that simple. You'll come back, but like, you know, you will go away. You don't call your lawyer and like, you know, work it out. Just see you later, you know, you're gone. That's it. So it's strict, you know, it's strict here. It's Asia. So don't step out of line.
So what are Japanese hobbies? What do they like to do?
Oh man, everything. Literally everything. Japanese people are very into their hobbies, and usually people will have a specific hobby and be very like meticulous about that. That's a kind of like a kind of a stereotype, but it's also kind of true. Like My cycling friends only do cycling. They don't do weightlifting. They don't do like, fishing. They do, maybe they do fishing too, but mostly they'll do one thing. They'll just go OCD with that and just, it's called, there's a word called otaku, which is like another word used in Japan is maniac. So like maniac level of something. Like I've always been mostly I've listened to hip hop. I've been a hip hop head most of my life. But there's like kind of like a joke in New York. Like if you have a question about hip hop, ask a Japanese kid, because they're like they're like Wikipedia of that.
Really?
Like Japanese, yeah. Like if you go to like a like Japanese hip hop DJs are like very thorough. I mean, they'll know every sample of every cut of every sample of every record and who produced it and which studio it was produced in, who the backup dancers in the video were, whatever. And that's kind of like that with almost everything. They're kind of just like crack the books on whatever their hobby is and learn everything they can about it. That's the stereotype.
So they are more well-rounded, or they stick to one hobby?
Well, yeah, like it's just a different way of like approaching a subject, like movies, for example. People will tend to know the producers over the actors. Like they'll know, like, oh, that's a Martin Scorsese movie, or oh, that's like a so and so Woody Allen movie or something like that, as opposed to like this, and I'm talking about like younger people, like high school or college kids, where they'll know like very specific artists, which could be kind of surprising to some people. Like so kind of like almost trivial level of information in various subjects. Like maybe a lot of these subjects, magazine culture. So a lot of things like some specific thing like Italian furniture, which I studied industrial design, so I know a little bit about Italian furniture, just a little bit, like, but about the same amount as like a lot of people I might know. Like they might know like this is this brand or this designer or something like that, or architecture. So stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. And the last question to you, Brian. So what 3 pieces of advice would you give to those people who are just going to Japan or want to move to Japan?
Sure. I mean, I would say like learn, like going anywhere really, try to learn at least the basics of the language, like thank you and where's the train station or something, some basic language and some basic
basic language, yes.
Yeah, basics.
2 other tips or advice.
Yeah, because people will kind of open up a little faster and try to speak English if you're already like trying to speak Japanese. Then they'll be like, all right, I'll switch to English now. But if you just go up to them and like, hey, where's the train station? They're gonna be like, wakaranai, and it's gonna close the door on you faster. So yeah, another thing is like being willing to try to eat different things and be flexible about that. Because a lot of people are like, I'm a vegetarian, like I'm a vegan, and like good luck with that, because the average day in the life of Japanese people is going to be an obstacle course for a vegetarian or a vegan. So be prepared, kind of like do your research before, so you're not confused.
What about in a cultural way?
Cultural way. Yeah, like I said, don't walk around smoking and don't be loud talking on the train and be just be nice, be cool. Don't be a jerk. Like anywhere. Yeah.
It would be difficult to do.
Yeah, I mean, it depends who you are, I guess. But yeah, just be open-minded, I guess, and take your shoes off be willing to be ready to take your shoes off pretty much anywhere and
Anywhere.
put on some slippers. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like the first time I came to Japan, it was like, okay, I'm in my like hotel or whatever, which is a very traditional environment, and it was like, take off your shoes. You have like one pair of slippers to get to your room, another pair of slippers in the room, another pair of slippers in the bathroom, another pair of slippers in the shower. You know, so it's like slippers, 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 slippers. So it can be a little bit much for, you know, for somebody at first. But I actually just like, I have sneakers for like everywhere I go. I have like different pairs of sneakers. I just don't wear them outside. So I have like, I have like my gym sneakers. I have my, you know, kindergarten sneakers, my work sneakers, my at-home sneakers. I just like wearing sneakers. So instead of slippers, I just wear sneakers.
So your wife advised you to do that, or on you?
It's you can't avoid it. I mean, it's like you can't walk around on the street and then walk around indoors anywhere, really. I mean, certain businesses, certain offices allow it, but for the most part, you'll be taking your shoes off. You'll be changing into something else, like your shoes at least. So like shoelaces. I mean, forget about tying your shoes. You're gonna be like kicking them on and off. For the most part, you're gonna like tie them so you can just jump right into them again. And you're not gonna like I have one pair of shoes. I have a pair of hiking boots that I actually like put on and tie. And I think like, where am I going today? Am I gonna be taking these off, or am I just going somewhere and coming back, walking around and coming back? So that's actually a big one. I have shoes all over the place. There's like, you'll see shoe racks. If you go to a kindergarten, you'll see like a wall of shoes, basically, and they'll have like 3 or 4 different versions of what shoes. Like school shoes, slippers, sports shoes,
So they have bugs on shoes. I understand.
Have what?
Bugs. They have bugs on shoes. Like, they are crazy about shoes. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, it's a culture, because another thing is the uniform culture. So most people are wearing a uniform one way or another. I mean, this is my uniform. I designed it myself. It's a t-shirt. It's what's like, I wear t-shirts and jeans. And it's a great thing of working for myself. But most everybody's wearing some kind of uniform. Every school has a uniform. And sneakers are like the one thing that people, especially kids, have a little bit of flexibility with. So that's actually a big factor in why the sneaker culture, the sneaker trends blew up so quickly in Japan, because people it's a big deal. So people will spend a little bit more money on some sneakers. It's like different values placed on different things. People might live in a very small place and live very like humbly, but they'll put down some money on a pair of sneakers or some clothes, and there's value in it for them. Myself included. I mean, I'm a New Yorker, so it's like sneakers and baseball hats. That's us.
I see. Okay, yeah. Brian. So thanks a lot for such a wonderful, exciting, and beneficial interview. So in the link below, you can find Brian's profile and his site, so you can connect with him in order to order some ESL teaching materials and digital products. Yes. So take care, guys.
Okay. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Brian. See you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay. See ya. Bye.